interesting is that at the moment a lot is going on in the spiritual realm. A lot of changes or portal become open, and energy exchanges, and also we don't really call it negative energy. It's more a kind of lower spirits that try to get part of the energy or become part of the energy realm of the higher frequency spirits. As a group of New Earth leaders are already on very high frequencies right now, this become much more, and it's a lot of attacking, I would say, in certain areas. It's not that you really recognize this immediately in the physical realm. It's more like spiritual, subconsciously, maybe that you get back into those loops in your mind for some time in here and there, because even with all the spiritual protection we already have, with a lot of spirits around us, archangels, guardian angels, ancestors maybe, ancestors maybe, that it's still possible here and there that they get reach into your mind, your physical mind, and then most of us already have learned how to cope with this. So you go into stillness, and the most important part with this is to recognize that the loop has started, and we are well trained for some time now to recognize it very soon, maybe almost immediately. And then we have some behaviors we can use to stop those loops. The interesting part is the easiest thing is the mind can only control one thing at a time. So if you concentrate your mind on maybe your breathing, focus just on the breathing, it has to stop with the looping stuff, and then you can get rid of it. And if you're awakened, most of the time there is stillness. So there are no loops. You just use the mind to, like a smart tool, I would say, with all the positivity it has in it, so that this permanently looping, maybe those still have to fight with or cope with, that are not awakened, is not there any longer. And if there are no triggers, then normally those loops can start. But with those attack moments, awakening is not a moment in time. It's a number of moments, maybe over years, so that there sometimes are moments that those lower frequency spirits, entities, can maybe reach you for a moment, and maybe trigger something that is still not healed in you, inside you, but it becomes easier and easier over time. So the steps of awakening help to heal everything that's inside you, and those attacks maybe become not that intensive any longer. There will be more attacks, I would say, in the future, because with all these awakening steps you will go through, your frequency goes up and up and up and up, and it becomes more and more interesting to those lower spirits to get something from this energy. Sometimes, if you have still relationships to people from your time before awakening, if there are still relationships, maybe there are, because of this difference in frequency, maybe there are also moments in the physical realm that create those looping moments in your mind just through communication, certain moments that maybe can trigger you, or just the behavior of those around you that are still not awakened. Because the difference between awakened and not awakened is that all this, I would say, negative stuff in the physical realm is gone after the first steps in awakening and become lesser important in your life. But if you're around, or if people around you that are not awakened, they are still full of this negativity and this fear, lack, separation, control, and all this stuff. So it depends how or where you are on your journey of awakening. The best thing you can do is to cut all the cords to those people who are not able to raise up to your frequency that you already have and you will have in the future, because it goes up and up and up. So the challenge is that you maybe have to leave people you really love. But if you follow your path of awakening, you have to leave them behind. There's no other solution. Except they find a way to follow you in awakening. But you have to accept that most of those people that you had deeper relationships in the past will not be able to follow you. And so you keep yourself in a situation when you keep those relationships in this energy or frequency differences, and it doesn't make sense. And you will recognize this over time from awakening step to awakening step. You give, but you get not the same back from the energy level. And that doesn't help any longer if you're on your way to awakening. So in the end, you have to give up all those relationships. And that can be very hard. It can be your spouse, your parents, your kids maybe. So it is a bit strange if you're not in this awakening, what I'm talking about. But in the end, it's not the bloodline, it's your soul family. So in the spiritual realm, before we incarnate in the physical realm, as this human body, with our spirit, higher self, and so on, there are soul contracts. And those contracts define how you start your journey, your learning journey. And the interesting part with being on Earth is it's like a school. So your soul, or your higher self, creates a contract that defines what it will learn in this incarnation and how it is designed. So the journey is almost predefined, and you just follow this way until you awake. And on this journey, there's a lot of fog and yeah, you can't really recognize who you are, and that's an important design aspect of all this, because it is, if you want to really learn something new as a soul, you shouldn't remember who you are. So awakening is just remembering who you are before you incarnate in this physical realm, and be who you are. Maybe find a relationship between the physical body, the higher self, the soul, and of course the source. Because source is also inside you. It's not just the sum of all sparks that are out there in the universe. It is also inside you. So this relationship to your higher self, your soul, and to source can be remembered. And after this remembering, you become a whole. So body, soul, mind become a whole. You understand what's really going on in the physical realm. Sometimes we call it the matrix because it's a construct. The inner truth is the only truth that is really there for everybody of us. And everything around you is just mirroring of the inner state, I would say. So the awakening starts inside. There's nobody outside who can really help. You just have to remember, and then you become a whole in yourself, and you have a different relationship to what is outside. And outside adapts to what is inside. And that's pretty interesting. If you're, for example, negative inside before awakening, you will attract negativity outside. So it's just a mirroring. Maybe the most work is to understand this mechanics behind all this. So inside defines outside. If you want to change something in the outside, start changing inside. It's pretty simple, but to understand it from what we have learned in our journey as kids and young adults, a lot of those beliefs and society norms, I would say, are 180 degrees the other way around. So after awakening, it's pretty important to recognize that you were creative or a creator in every moment of your life, and that this creation is some part of your soul contract to leave something in this physical realm, maybe to help others. So if you're a musician, create music that nobody else can create except you, and this will help others. Maybe they get joy listening to it. Maybe it inspires them to make music themselves and be creative in this way too. Maybe there's a healing aspect in this special kind of music you create, and so on. So the highest excitement is the most important part. So just do things that are really that important to your inner truth. And that's something that helps you to get in a deeper relationship with your higher mind and the source in the end. The mind can't help here. The mind is pretty limited. And everything after awakening that helps you to find who you are and what your soul contract is, and what this kind of learning journey really is about, can only be recognized and experienced via your heart, not your mind. Your mind can't get it, not at all. So the mind is just a good calculator to make some calculations, but it can't recognize how how the rest functions. So if you are creative, maybe the mind can help to get the skills to how can I create music with certain tools, software, instruments. What is this music theory thing? Maybe how can I use sampling, DJing to create art and so on. So you have to understand, and the mind can help here. How you use your hands, for example, or how can I create experiences that help me to become better in the skill set, I would say, and the rest is not done by the mind; it's done by the heart, and the deep connection to your higher self, because this creativity part is not in your brain, I would say, or in the subconscious. It's the higher self, the connection to your higher self, and this connection becomes deeper if you listen to your intuition, for example, listen to your emotions. So the moments or the experiences you are very, very good from the perspective of the feelings. So you have fun, you are calm and in peace. You're maybe in flow state. Flow state is something we already know from the time before awakening. So there's no space and time if you're really in flow state, and then you get in first impression what is going on when you're in those creative moments based on the heart. And if you're that focused on just creating, following your inner knowing, this highest excitement moments, that there's nothing what can describe it better. You are in optimal is not really a good term, but I have no other. So it is the best moment, maybe environment, when those feelings are there, and you create the best results in the expression of your inner truth. It's not that you are doing stuff for others. That's not. There are no goals. It's just to become, or to get into flow state, I would say, and then just live it and have that much joy as you can, because that is something where the communication between your higher self and your mind that are still help to use your skills are that deep that the that the results that you create with this approach are the best you can get, I would say. So maybe we can describe it this way. So it is not important that you are creating something for others, following a goal and try to solve problems for others or so. No, 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 no. The interesting part is create something that is following your inner truth. So it is the best possible expression of yourself, who you are, your inner values. And if you publish those things, people who are, I would say, similar to you with your values and your inner truth, those people will find those results. And then there is something, you can call it help each others, create something others would pay for because they want more of this. It's not that result itself in the first place. It's more they want to support you because they see the value in you. Maybe there's a kind of mirroring. They see themselves in you, and of course vice versa. So it is an expression of we exchange energy. Money is energy in the end, and there's a value for those people from your results, and so there's a possibility for this exchange. And it's not making money in the first place or so. No. It's a byproduct. But if your expression of your inner truth is very, very good recognizable in those results, it will maybe that attractive that more and more people want to participate in all those stuff you are creating, and of course to become part of your circle, I would say. So if you're open to this, maybe if you're an online community or something like this, or visit some conventions and exchange or be in communication with those people, in those moments you will understand that the stuff that you are creating is just an expression of what is inside you, and this inside you makes you pretty attractive to people who are similar to you or follow the same values maybe, so that you are in the end just be a personal brand, how we call it today. And if you look at it from the sales perspective, I would say the classic stuff we know from 3D, you're not selling your results, you're just selling yourself, but not in a way that the money is the focus. It's this energy exchange and the inspiration, the learning maybe. So how did you all this with the awakening? Maybe your skills, if they are interested in becoming someone who is that creative like you. It is just the frequency stuff or the vibration, your vibration, that makes you that attractive, and also the results you create, because they are based on this foundation of your inner truths and so on. Yeah. And if you are or if you have developed a certain reach in the public, maybe online, but you don't have to, more and more people become interested in conversations with you, learning from you. So there are certain aspects in all this to have the possibility to help others. Maybe you offer communication in a community. Maybe you do some course stuff that you offer, or collaborations, of course. Also interesting, because creative people should collaborate with each other to even create more interesting stuff. And if you're awakened, there's no competition. There's only collaboration. Money is a byproduct, always. So nobody will do it for the money. It's just this expression, this inner truth expression in a group creates very interesting stuff. So this experience is the important part in all this. So if you are planning to build a community, have a focus on this experience, this feeling stuff, for yourself and for all those who are interested to become part of this community. Sure, they will pay some money for this, because you have your costs and you have to earn your living, but it's not the focus of all this. This experience, this energy exchange in the end is the important part. And if you're focused on just this inner truth and this experience, you help others a lot, because there are not that many people out there who live their life like this and understand what is really important on this planet. And maybe that's something we still have to develop further, and that's what we call New Earth. So if most of the people will be awakened someday in the future, a lot of stuff we are currently struggling with on Earth, wars, conflicts, misuse of, I don't know, power, money, harming people and all this stuff, it will be gone one day. All those people who think that's normal will be gone. And then we have a completely different foundation. And of course, technology and the development of technology will help us even more in the future, that we don't have to struggle with all this make a living and stuff. Maybe we will not think about it any longer, because there are machines that are doing all this work, creation of food and what is necessary, so that we can live a good life as humans on this planet. And then it is even more important, what do we with the spare time? So be creative. Everybody can do it. Everybody is creative. It's in every person on this planet. Maybe some still have to remember it, that they can be creative, and if they all follow their inner truth, this will help humanity a lot. That's the interesting part with all this. So awakening is a first step. My suggestion is always start with flow. You maybe have already experienced it. Try to get more flow states per day, per week, per month, and find a way to recognize what's important to get into this flow. And be creative. Just do something, even if it doesn't work in the first step. Just repeat it. Change some little things and try it again and develop over time. But not with the idea to follow a goal or make money, or it's more to remember who you are. So if you are already open to this awakening stuff, try to understand where are the dissonances around you and try to get rid of them. So the dissonances are a hint that there's something that doesn't work for your inner truth, for who you are. And try to understand why those dissonances appear. And try to change something outside of you or in your environment to get rid of them. And maybe there are some beliefs you have to left behind, and that's not easy because maybe you have lived decades with this belief and you never asked, is this something that really is my belief? But then it becomes interesting if you have a look at those dissonances. So if you accept that you don't have to have dissonance at all, yeah. So you are the center of all this, and everything that doesn't help you, if you understand who you are, you can change, and you have to get rid of this. You can say, okay, maybe there are some relationships or situations you think you can't, but you can. It's just a decision, and then you find a way to do it. But this flow state is something you can start with, because in those moments, and even if it's just 15 minutes or so, you are in a kind of awakening moment. And try to get more of this over time. Make it 30 minutes, make it 60 minutes, maybe 2 hours, and repeat it as often as you can. So instead of just have your Netflix evening, take those moments and prepare yourself that you can get into this flow state and just create something. Over time, you will not be that interested anymore in doing this Netflix evening because the other experiences are much more interesting to you. There's the possibility to get into calm, peaceful moments. Maybe moments that you have no feeling for time any longer, or for the location you are in. And that's pretty cool, because space-time is just a construct of our mind. There is no time. That's a fact. Not for our scientists, but if you're in a spiritual realm, nobody works with clocks there. Nobody. It doesn't help. It's a construct we developed with our mind as a humankind on this planet, and then it became science. And yeah, there's truth in the science in certain aspects, sure, but some doesn't really help. And in those moments when you can't feel time or space or location any longer, you are on the right path. That's little moments of awakening. because that's a feeling we awakened people have every day, in every moment. And we live in the moment, by the way, not in the past, not in the future, always in the moment. Because also past and future are constructs of the mind. This time and clock thing. Um, so the interesting part to me was to understand that if I try to find those dissonances, and that's why I'm talking about flow, because if you are in flow, there are no dissonances. That's kind of optimal moment for you to be a very good creative moment, I would say. And if you don't expect anything of what you are creating, it's even better. If you don't think about making money with something, also, even better. So just let it flow, as we say it, and be inspired by the process. Be very experimental with all this. Do crazy shit. That's pretty important in the beginning, to do something you normally would not think about. But if there are no limits in your head, I would say, you get even better results over time. And that's something, if you have looked at very successful artists, the important part is that are these misfit guys. They think about stuff, they do stuff normal people never would do. It's totally against their belief system. And that's something that describes why they help to change something, because they're be outside of this normal things, and have a different view on everything. Maybe combine stuff never ever someone has thought about, but for them it's a kind of natural experience, something they try, because there's a kind of logic in it to combine stuff in their world, and that's the interesting part. Be different is the interesting thing, and everybody of us can be like this and should be like this. Most of those beliefs and norms we have learned are just something to control people, to dim people, maybe. And there's so much more in everybody, in every one of us, that can shine because we dim ourselves. We think it is everybody around us told us that's how it goes. Our parents, teachers, our spouse, maybe. But that's only one aspect of being on this planet. We don't have to limit ourselves. Universe abundance is limitless. But you can't recognize this if you are still in those belief systems. But in those moments, those crazy moments, you can experiment with this, and this experience that you will have maybe help you to understand there's more than a lot of those people around you talk about. And that's interesting to experience, because it's a kind of remembering who you really are. Everybody of us has it inside us, but there's so many fog and distractions and everything else around us that we can't recognize it any longer. But if you already understand that the systems you are part of, the roles you play, are not really yours, that's the first step of questioning and searching for alternatives. And the alternatives are inside you. And that's so maybe one of the first steps to really awaken. It is not obvious, but it become obvious more and more when you understand what is really inside you. Nobody talks about, and you can't remember. But if you do such experiments or talk to people who are already awakened, and you are still searching for alternatives because there's a first understanding inside you, something doesn't work any longer for me. What's around me, what they told me is the truth I have to follow, or there's no alternative, or something like this. And it's not that obvious in the first step, but you can change anything. Even the worst moments can be changed. And to recognize this and then take this power back to yourself. Look from the inside to the outside. Cut all those dependencies to the outside, to other people, and find this inner truth that tells you there's already everything important inside you. You don't really need help from the outside. You just have to understand what's going on in this simulation, in this matrix around you, to find a way out. And that maybe needs some time, maybe years, but it's okay. It's a very good investment. Don't give up. Just follow this path if you really recognize something like this already, and search for help. People who are on their journey to awaken or have awakened already and have those higher frequencies. Even in the darkest moments, there's light. You maybe can recognize it at the moment, but there's a way out, and there are people out there who can help. You just have to decide for yourself to go this alternative path, I would say, and build a complete new life for yourself. It's possible. And if you're already thinking about, is there more? Then the answer is yes, there is more. And you should try to understand what this is for your life. It is worth the invest.